Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Ask the Expert, show hosted by myself, Patty Farmer, and my co-host, Teresa Ream. And I have to tell you, we are really excited today because we have a special guest with us today that I'm going to tell you is going to give you a little bit of a different perspective on your business, and maybe some options you might have that you never thought of, and just a little bit different way of thinking, different lens. So you want to make sure you lean in, listen, make sure you connect, and most importantly, you implement some of the wisdom that she is going to share with us today. So Teresa, will you introduce our guest?
Yes, thank you. Today we're going to be talking about marketing with Megan Merz, and Megan is the Business Development Assistant Director for the Ream Companies, which consist of disaster cleanup specialists, Floor Store USA's Flooring America, and Cypress Design and Build, located in the heart of Sand City, California. Megan's superpower is comforting others in stressful situations and creating calm out of chaos. She is passionate about getting help to her community in the greatest time of need during a disaster at their home or business. Megan's motto is, "You never know when a disaster may strike, but call Megan and she will make everything all right." Welcome, Megan. I love your slogan.
Thank you so much, Megan, for being here. I mean, I'm really excited because, obviously I spend a lot of time working with you, and I just really love being on the same team with you because I think it's really great. And I get to see all the things that you do too, as the membership director of PWN and as you represent the Ream companies as well. So let's just kind of dive right into that. So in case there's some questions out there on like, whoa, why are we interviewing Megan? I'm going to tell you, by the time we get off this show today, you're going to walk away with at least 1, 2, if not 3, and we're only going to ask her 5 questions. So that's pretty good, of exactly some thoughts that you might not have thought about for your business or somebody you know. So let's just dive right into that. So Megan, when you are out there networking and you're not really representing yourself, although we're always representing ourselves, right? But when you're representing another company, and in this case, the Ream companies, what are some do's and then some don'ts of what you should be thinking about when you are going out there networking? So let's talk about some of the do's first. What are some of the things that's really important when you're representing another company? I know that when I was a cheerleader in school, they were always telling us, oh, remember, no matter what you're doing, you represent the school, right? Right? And stuff. So when you're out there representing the Ream company and you're out in the community, what are some do's that are really, really important in case there's somebody that's listening that had never thought of having somebody else represent them out in the community?
Absolutely. So my first biggest do is to obviously know the president, and you know how it's like, the WWJD is what would Jesus do? It's what would, in this case, Teresa Ream do, because having the heart and soul of knowing what the business is about and the mission statement and living by that, and your own personal development of wanting to grow and extend, it's a really easy thing to be the face in the community in that way, to represent the president in all of our different businesses in order to help, again, the community. It goes hand in hand.
I think that's really true. And not only that, but alongside with that, when people ask questions, right? I mean, they're going to ask you questions, and those questions, right? A lot of times as an entrepreneur, people will ask you questions, yourself, and you didn't know anybody was going to ask you that, right? And as an entrepreneur, over time, we are prepared as owners of our business to pretty much answer anything somebody could ask us, right? But to be out there and be the so-called face of somebody else's company, you really do have to know what they could be asking so that you can answer or know where to send them to get that information, if you don't know it, because you don't have to know everything. You just have to know where to send them. So I think that was really, really good. Are there any other do's?
Just be example. I think overall the do is to, when you put your heart and soul into something that you believe in, it just speaks for itself. And the more you are more involved with the community, it easier is to understand the brand that you're representing and how you could be values to other businesses and day-to-day one-on-one networking or communication.
Yes, that's so
Absolutely.
important, Megan. I see the way you do your marketing with such ease, and that confidence that comes through. I can tell you love what you do. I can tell you love your company, and I see you answer questions that I really sometimes think you answer them better than I do. She's a little more thorough. Because somebody asks us something and I'll go to say something and she just rattles the answer off. It's just amazing. She knows her business, and I really admire that.
I think that's good. What do they say is, the best employees that we can have are ones where we treat them so well that they're part of the team and they actually have ownership. I mean, maybe not like actual equity ownership, but they take ownership in what they do. I love working with people, and every single thing they do, whether they're out networking or whatever, they show up, they own what they do. And Megan, for sure, that is absolutely you, for sure. For sure. So
Yeah.
what is a don't that you would share with somebody? Like, what is something you would say that if you were representing, another company, whether you're an employee or whether you're, a consultant, or in whatever way, shape, or form that you are, because we all outsource as entrepreneurs and business owners. A lot of times we outsource, whether they're in-house or not, we are still representing a company. So what is some of the mistakes or don'ts that people should make sure that they don't do when they're out there?
Don't make false promises, because again, as not being the business owner, I mean, you want to make sure that you give the correct information. And if you don't know the answer, and if you don't know the answer, you seek guidance for the person who does, and that's the business owners in that way. I feel like a lot of people that take on a role, they can overextend that, thinking that they have the approval to do something when at the bottom line, you don't. And the biggest don't is how I answer that if I don't know the answer, or if someone asks me a question about, budgeting or things like that. You know what? I'll get back to you. I will look into it. I will bring it up the flagpole. And that way it might take a little bit extra time, but at least I'm not giving the wrong information, and I could be seen in a negative light or things like that.
Or to give the wrong answer and then put the owner of the company in a situation where now they have to backpedal, right? But instead, when you don't know the answer and you do say, I'll get back with you. And if you say, I'll get back with you in 24 or 48 hours, whatever the case may be, and then you do what you said you're going to do, that makes you look good and the company you represent.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yes. Well, I think that also as business owners, and that's who I'm going to be speaking to on this, is that it's really important to hire a marketing person or even a marketing team, depending how large you are, because 80% of the time, the owner is not a good marketing person. They just are not that person that's going to go out and do the things that they need to do. They've got other hats they're wearing. And so a lot of times we'll hire the admin assistants and we'll hire other technical things, but we forget about that very important marketing person, that business development person. So I'll move into the next question. And since you're marketing for multiple companies, what is the difference in your follow-up then?
The follow-up is, this is where it's a personal touch by me on behalf of how this is going to benefit the network or the businesses in that way. And follow-up can either be a simple email on behalf of the Ream companies, and building the bridge of having a prospect in mind that I could see value in getting more business out of them and building that personal relationship. And then moving towards meeting Teresa. It's kind of like the middle ground of the follow-up of that.
That makes a lot of sense, though, when you really think about it, right? I mean, when you are the face of a company, right, in whatever capacity that is, the goal actually really is to get them in front of the right person. And as Teresa said, a lot of times that isn't even them. It could just be another person in the company that might be the person, right? But you are the bridge. And I think that is really, really important. So when you're out networking, and whether that is networking in a networking capacity that everybody knows is networking, right? Because we know we're networking all the time. You could be standing at the grocery store or stopping to pick up something, and here you are with your, shirt that has the logo. So no matter what, you are representing, right? So in that way, but when you are out talking to people and you are representing the company, what are some of the calls to action? Because I know that as a business owner, when I have conversations, I already know what my calls of action are, right? I walk in thinking about, oh, this is, what my goal is. And my goal might be to get them on a phone call, or my goal might be to have them subscribe to my magazine, or whatever the case may be, right? But as someone who's not the owner of the company, but representing the company, could you name off 2 or 3 calls of action you would give to them when you are out there networking?
I would always suggest inviting them to an event. So typically we have many events, nonprofit things, again, being part of a PWN, and along with our, Monterey Firefighter Foundation as well. Also, because we are with the nonprofit, there's a virtual roundtable event. That's always the opportunity of getting in touch with more, because ever since COVID, the sky is the limit, and you just never know who knows who in Texas or in Florida. And then, of course, the simple follow-up on a phone call, on a text. I mean, especially in Sand City, Monterey is very small. If you have one conversation, guaranteed you're going to see them down the road. So knowing names and faces helps a lot, just going to the grocery store.
That makes sense.
Yes, it's a very small community in Monterey. So yes, you end up running into a lot of different people in this small area. It's amazing.
And I think that a lot of times when you're out networking, because you are out there, being the face of the company and representing the company, you're in all different kinds of situations, whether it's at a chamber event, like you said, whether it is a nonprofit or whatever the case may be. People are always going to talk to you and tell you where they network. They're going to talk to you where they hang out. So it's really, really great, because then you become known in the community as, oh, if I don't know, let me ask Megan. Megan will know what's going on. And becoming that person, it's like being a resource. So then you're not only just an employee, you're a resource for that company as well. And that is a very good thing.
Well, that was very well said.
Before I ask you how you want people to connect with you, I do want to ask you one question that I'm curious about. You're a rare type of person that really imbibes what you do. And what is your personal marketing goal? I know we set up quarterly marketing goals and we have them, but in your heart, you must have a personal one.
There's a few. I mean, since starting with the Ream companies, my biggest thing is always being uncomfortable, and man, I'm never comfortable. And that's the beauty of always being in personal development. And honestly, speaking on camera is another big personal goal, because on top of that, being out in the community and giving presentations about the business, I get very nervous on those things. But personal goal is to just always continue to exceed expectations and not feel behind, and think about it before going, just running around everywhere. I think taking some time to myself.
Oh, nice.
Sometimes.
I think that lots of times when you are in opportunities where you are uncomfortable, and actually I got to tell you, welcome to entrepreneurship, because that's what it's like for an entrepreneur too. When you can't really win if you stay in your comfort zone, right? I always like to say there's 3 zones. There's freak out zone, there's your comfort zone, and then there's the confidence zone, right? Mm-hmm. And so I feel like when you're in the freak out zone, you're not even open to receive, to grow, right? When you're in the comfort zone, you're just used to doing it the same way, and you're not always as open either, but that's where the opportunity for the most growth really is, right? And once you become really comfortable at what you're doing, then you actually get to step in the confidence zone for that skill and then get uncomfortable with whatever the next skill is, which is where growth happens. And I have to tell you, in the time that I've known you, Megan, I've seen you do that over and over and over again.
Thank you.
That was so well said, Patty. It was just
Thanks.
awesome. Awesome. How would you like people connect with you?
I'm really good with Instagram. I've really enjoyed it and seeing how it's grown since the pandemic. And that's probably my main focus. LinkedIn is always great as well. Emails are great. Just sometimes they're not as quick and sharp as a simple call, or, again, face to face is probably the simple text. You'll get me there.
I know how much you love Instagram. What's your handle? What's your name? What's your at?
Oh, it's Meg with 5 G's. That's M-E 5 G's _ Merz, M-E-R-Z. It's the personal one.
When this airs, you can put in the comments, you can give all your information there.
Perfect.
That would be great.
I love that. That's a great idea. So Megan, what do you love? What do you love about being the face of the Ream companies as the business development assistant director, as well as you balance both of that as being PWN membership director? So what are the things that you love the most about being the face of the Ream companies?
That people know me, and they know that I am a source of a resource, and it just makes my life so much easier, being that all my hard work is being reciprocated because they know and trust me, because I've shown up, I'm there for them, I do the best I can, no matter if it's for a customer or a professional women's network. They go hand in hand. To me, it's the same tribe.
I love one of the things that I've seen you do over and over again in the, year and a half that I've known you, is we all know that Teresa embodies that whole community leader thing, right? She's nailed it. She has it down. And how she treats her employees is so good. But I have to tell you, it's almost like with you, it's almost like, this is kind of a funny visual, but it's almost like she did this IV and tapped it to you, because I see you do it over and over again. How I see Janessa and the people on your team there at the Ream companies, the way you talk about them and the way you understand teamwork and you're not competitive, and how you help them rise up is exactly what Teresa's mission is. And so I think that probably the best thing a company can do is, if you're going to have somebody be the face of your company, you couldn't have asked anybody else to be the face more than you, and how you show up, because you embody all of these in the mission statement of the company. So I think that is amazing.
We're very similar personalities. Mm-hmm. So it's very nice. It's nice for me. I don't know about for you.
It's nice. Really, it's nice to go around the office, because I think people understand that I really see Teresa's vision, and I am the advocate for that. And I feel very centered here and helping others around. So she's here.
For sure. So Teresa, I know this wasn't a plan, but I know you can go with the flow.
Oh, yes.
So what do you think, for the people who are out there listening, who have a company and they've never really thought about having somebody in that company represent them when they're out in the community, because, they're spending maybe 50 or 60 hours a week, working, what would you say? I mean, you two have just nailed it, right? Like what we just said. What would you say to them? What advice would you give them if they wanted to have somebody represent them? What are some things that you would tell them that they should be thinking about? Because maybe this is something they never thought of before. So could you share some wisdom?
Yes, of course. Marketing is a system like any of your other systems in your businesses. And it's you have to look at the type of person for the type of job. If you have somebody going on routes and seeing people, you want an extrovert. You need an extrovert. And then if you want somebody that's more of an inside admin type marketing, which I recommend having both, then you have to have somebody with a little bit different type of personality, because if they're a total extrovert, they're going to want to be out with Megan. So you have to hire to the personality also. So it's one of the systems you need to set up in your business. As you know, I'm a big systems person, which is pretty big for a free floating spirit like me to have. I'm very proud of that, to have systems. And your systems run the business, and your employees run the systems. So without those systems, you're dead in the water. So yes, take the time to hire that marketing person. Pretty soon, the business coming in will pay for that person.
I love that. That is a great quote. I mean, that is a great quote. I'm going to get back so I can write that down. That might make it be a quote of the day for me. That was really good, Teresa. So thank you for sharing that too. I'm sure the people that are listening to this are like, oh my gosh, this was our lucky day to get Megan and Teresa, right? So Megan, thank you so much for being a guest on the show and sharing your zone of genius from like the other side of the desk, so to speak, right? To our audience, thank you for joining us on Ask the Expert. And if you enjoyed today's show, and I am sure you did, don't keep it and share us with your network. And believe me when I say your colleagues will. Thank you. And we have an invitation for you too. So back to you, Teresa.
Thank you, Patty. And thank you so much, Megan. We would like to invite you to join us on our Facebook group and connect with our guests, with Patty and I, and other amazing women that are part of the Professional Women's Network of the Monterey Peninsula, known as PWN, and now includes members locally, nationally, and internationally too. Please go to www.facebook.com/groups/PWN Monterey.
Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you.